I want residuals.
What's going on, Freak Nation? It's a special Whip-Ass Wednesday here in the Freak Nation. Happy to be a part of this big old thing. Thank you guys for hanging out. The Continental Tires being a part of this big old thing. And the reason I say it's special, two reasons. One is we have a fellow Hoosier coming in. I don't know if Crash is going to be able to contain herself.
No.
You're going to be okay, Crasher?
No, this is very exciting, Kenny. Living in Phoenix, living in the desert, talking to a guy in Texas, and both of us have a little bit of IU roots. This is just mind-blowing.
Let me do this. Let me go up here. Okay, Richie, do you think Crasher will be able to contain herself? The fact that we've got a soccer star and a dude that played ball at IU?
I'm ready for all the IU story. Just tell me all about every single dorm that everybody hasn't shared in common. Bring it on.
Right.
All right. I was thinking more like stories about Knicks and Sink the Bismarck, but okay, that's fine. We can talk dorms.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. Yeah, just any IU story you can give me, I'll take it. Make it happen.
What's great about this is
I've seen Hoosiers, so that's enough. You know,
is offline. I see Griffin Dorsey with the Dynamo, but joining us here shortly. I see him smiling already because he knows some of those stories. So without further ado, Griffin Dorsey, Houston Dynamo, joining us here in the Freak Nation. And you hear all those stories already, Griffin. I don't know if this is going to be a Dynamo story or if this is going to be a Hoosier story.
It sounds like more of a Hoosier story at this point.
It really does, doesn't it?
Hey, and Kenny, you started that. It wasn't even me or Griffin starting that, so.
I'll give you that. Houston Dynamo's own Griffin Dorsey joining us here in the Freak Nation. And so many things that we could talk to you about. Your season's winding down. You're not ending up where you would like to, of course. But, again, this is your first big boy season with the Dynamo. You're originally from Colorado, and I see that – I don't know if you had a chance to play against Colorado. Did you make your debut in July with the Dynamo? Is that right?
I want to say that's right, yeah.
Right. So you didn't you didn't play.
At this point all blur together.
Yeah.
From leaving Toronto to coming to Houston, it all at this point is blurring together.
So you didn't have a chance to compete against the Rapids in that May match where they took down the Dynamo. I believe you were there for the August match. You've got another Colorado Rapids match coming up. Is it tough to not like your own state's soccer team?
I want to be honest. I mean, I was in Toronto, so I know what it's like to not like other teams, especially Colorado. And it doesn't really change here. You know, being an ex-season ticket holder for the Rapids, it's definitely a little weird not to be cheering for them, but when we go head-to-head, it's definitely not friendly.
Well, Crasher, before we get into your Hoosier love, I've got to get into this because we've had numerous Dynamo players and FC Dallas players here in the Freak Nation, and I am from Dallas, and anything south of Dallas we just didn't like, including Houston. Has it been beaten into your head that anything north of Houston, Austin, Dallas, you just don't like, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. One of my initial first games, I want to say one of my first 5 games was in Austin, and you could just tell the heat between those fans, the Houston fans, the environment in general is not very friendly. Like any rivalry, though. Yeah.
But the thing is, are you a player that thrives off of the enemy's fans, your rivals' fans, or do you want your home? I mean, you always want your home field to be loud and crazy, but do you kind of get more geeked up when it's the enemy fans that are yelling smack at you?
I think it's a little bit of both. As a player, I think it gives you energy when you got your fans backing you, and I think it also gives you energy when you got fans in your ear talking the way they want to talk to you. So it's definitely a little bit of both.
And then how do you channel that to focus on the pitch? I mean, let's say things aren't going your way and you've got to channel that energy into making something positive happen on the pitch. How do you do that, or how have you learned to do that over the years?
Yeah, I think it even started at Indiana. I mean, the rivalry between Indiana and Maryland, for example, in the Big Ten for men's soccer is massive. And when we would go to Maryland, it's not like it was a friendly environment to play in. And I think as a player, you just learn to adapt to either silencing it out, or some players decide to let it in and just let it fire them up. I think for me, it's about letting it in and just embracing the entire moment and letting it fire me up.
That's tough for me to understand because being in a relationship with someone from Indiana, I don't think of Maryland. I think of
Hold on. Do you want to clarify that not only do we work together, but we're married?
Yeah, look at Griffin's going, what the hell did I just walk into, man? Yeah, it doesn't happen every day, Griffin, where you have two co-hosts that are married together. Well, married together as well. But, okay, let me take a step back. Because, again, I'm from Dallas. I'm a UT fan. So needless to say, if you're from Oklahoma, you stink. You suck. And I understand it's the same thing when it comes to IU. Anything Purdue, you suck. So when I hear Maryland granted, I know Maryland's got a badass team, but still, do you have any hatred for Purdue, bud?
I mean, obviously you got to have hatred for Purdue, but the fact that they don't have a men's soccer team and playing men's soccer kind of makes it a little bit different. I mean, when it comes to basketball and football, yeah, we hate Purdue, but when it comes to soccer, I mean, the rivalry really isn't there because there's no team in Purdue.
Hold on though. You just touched on something. I'm still shocked that they don't have a team. Still, I graduated a long time ago. I graduated in '94 from IU, but it just blows my mind that with how soccer has grown, I think, leaps and bounds over the last couple of decades in the United States, how some D1 colleges still don't have teams. Do we need to change that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt that needs to change. I think you're starting to see it change, and even the way the MLS is growing in the U.S. is just showing that soccer is becoming more and more popular throughout the country. And, college is just another aspect where that can piggyback off of.
And then also with how soccer has grown, these clubs, these leagues have been the way that you guys have. Well, again, everybody's story is different, but it seems like some of these club teams are how people are getting their way into the MLS ranks. College is another route. Is there a little bit of a splintering in the feeder system of soccer because of all these different ways to get to the big leagues?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult, and especially as a young American kid, trying to make it in the MLS, you see the MLS growing, and, sometimes some clubs value it more to go to Central or South America and find a young player, instead of looking in the U.S. ranks, which also makes it difficult. I think, there's definitely a few things that make it really difficult, but the growth in the league is definitely hard.
Griffin, you're talking about the growth of soccer and the growth of the MLS. When I think of Toronto, your former team, Toronto FC, I first think of the Toronto Maple Leafs and how big hockey is up in Canada. But in your time there in Toronto, did you see a growth in terms of the sport there, in terms of the fandom when it comes to Toronto FC? And what was the soccer culture like up there in Canada compared to the hockey culture there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hockey culture there is almost like the NFL culture here. I mean, it's live, breathe, die Maple Leafs, and everybody is the same way. And I think even with the Raptors winning their title while I was up there as well, made basketball a very big sport. But I think that soccer rivals right there in the third spot, right underneath basketball and hockey.
Yeah, and we saw the success of the women's national team for Canada recently too. They won the gold medal there up in the Olympics, so it doesn't surprise me at all that sport continues to grow there. And I always like, anytime we have soccer players here on the show, I always like to ask this question, which is because I'm always fascinated by athletes and how they kind of compete in terms of, do they like trash talking their opponents? So Griffin, when you're on the pitch and you're up against your biggest rival in the MLS, whether that's Austin now or anybody else, are you a big trash talker?
I think right now I'm trying to still get my footing a little bit in the league. I've had, I think, 15 to 17 games played, so I'm still, working my way into the league. I don't think too much about trash talk. But I can tell you that here and there, it definitely comes out. But after the games, I'm a very friendly person.
Very friendly.
Griffin Dorsey joining us here in the Freak Nation from Houston Dynamo. The dirtiest team that you've played against so far in Major League Soccer is?
I got to go Real Salt Lake.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
the last team I would think. All those nice folks up there in Utah,
Oh,
buddy.
nice. It's a farce. Wow. Really? Tell us why.
They've got a couple midfielders that can get pretty nasty, and definitely not. You don't want to poke and prod too much with their midfielders.
Okay, who was just mic'd up recently? It was in motorsports, actually, where I saw somebody mic'd up and it was just absolutely hysterical. Of course, some trash talk was going on as well. Mm-hmm. Is that something that maybe it's different with MLS, especially with no commercial breaks and needing to adjust the microphones on the fly? But is that something that MLS maybe should look at in the future, is miking people up to really get the flavor of what's going on with you guys out on the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that could be a possibility down the line. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I definitely believe that could help spark some more interest in the league.
Because I feel like there's more ridiculous banter that goes on between you guys than there is on an NFL field. There's just, you guys are constantly gnawing at each other, whereas in the NFL, it's you have a play and then it's done, and then you have a play and then it's done.
Crasher, they'd eat each other's faces if they could.
Well, yeah, but the helmets are in the way. I mean, let's give MLS credit where credit's due. I mean, They've got the best talking game in the business.
Whoa.
Wow, I respect that.
Holy smokes.
And I want to see it on TV.
Hey, Griffin, do you have a girlfriend?
I do.
Can she decorate your house a little better?
Oh, come on.
I mean, you have nothing. You have a mirror behind you and a white wall, bro.
A plant?
Decorating.
Okay, there's some pictures on the wall and a plant.
Oh, I've got it all set up. Look, I got all my guitars right here.
Oh, it's over, man.
There it is.
Wow. Why don't you use the guitars as your backdrop, bro? Come on.
I can do that.
Those are badass.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Give us stories. How did you get those and why? And
Yeah,
ooh, they're
whoa.
gorgeous.
No, I decided this one I got in the red one I got in Toronto, the gold one I got in Colorado, and then this was my first guitar.
Oh,
That a boy.
looks familiar.
Yeah, you
Kenny.
do have a girlfriend. You have a pumpkin by the TV. Women just like putting pumpkins around the apartment.
I got pumpkins everywhere.
I know.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's fall. It's pumpkin spice everything. Stop it with your hatred for the pumpkin.
But come on, Griffin, you didn't roll out to freaking Safeway or I don't know what the hell the store is, HEB and go, hey, babe, let's get a white pumpkin and put it to the lower right of the TV, right?
I'm counting right now. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pumpkins in my living room to dining room area. I can promise you they weren't my purchases.
But well done to the girlfriend.
All right, if I was to walk in on you, Griffin Dorsey with Dynamo joining us here in the Freak. If I was to walk in on you with your guitar and you could play any kind of music, what would you be playing on one of those snappy guitars behind you?
I mean, if I could play any,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going John Mayer.
Whoa.
But
Ooh.
I mean, that's like top class, years and years of practice. I still got a long way to go before I can play some of his stuff, but definitely John Mayer.
Is that how you got your girlfriend? You started playing some John Mayer for her? Because
That'll work.
that dude can get women
good.
lit up all over the place, man.
I'm more of like a classic rock. I listen to a lot of my dad's music, which is kind of funny.
Which is, give me a couple
That's
of
more up your
songs
alley,
on
Kenny.
your list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I mean, like, The Who, the Eagles, Rolling Stones, those are my type of bands. I'm not much of a millennial music enthusiast.
That to me, though, and yes, I'm biased, that is Bloomington music. That is Bloomington, Indiana, Hoosier music right there.
I can
So
tell you right
perfect.
now that a big reason I listen to it, too, is my Bloomington native friend on the soccer team was one who introduced me to a lot of it.
Boom! There you go.
All right. Well, let's say this then, Griffin Dorsey, Houston Dynamo, joining us here in the Freak Nation. Sold out. It's what is it? NRG Stadium, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Houston?
Yeah, where the Texans play. Sold out in NRG Stadium, and you get to fill in for Pete Townsend, or let's say, Joe Walsh of the Eagles. What chords are you going to rip? What band are you going to join to?
And you've practiced, and you are perfect at it.
Yeah.
God, I mean, that's a hard one.
Wow. Stumped.
I mean, like, Rocky Mountain Way is Joe Walsh, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as a Colorado guy, Rocky Mountain Way is like awesome. Awesome. I would have to go with that.
And we're also love us some motorsports. Please tell me that the time you spent in Indiana, you did get a chance to see an Indianapolis 500.
It's only 2 years.
No.
What?
I was at IU for a year and a half. It wasn't like I was there for 4 years.
Hello, Super Draft.
No, the closest I got to racing was the Little Five. But
See,
that's bike racing. So
good
there
enough,
you go.
though. Good enough. And see,
Cool.
that's another movie you need to watch, Richie, by the way, Breaking Away, all about the Little 500. Yes, we will school you later on.
It's badass.
No, but Little 500, yes, that's Bloomington tradition. Perfect. That's all he needs right now. As soon as he scores more goals, he'll get invited to the 500 as a Houston Dynamo VIP guest. It'll be all good. He's got it coming.
Yeah, exactly.
See if I can do this real quick before you get the hell out of here. Griffin
Oh,
Dorsey
yeah.
joining us here in the Freak Nation.
You're going to turn yourself around. Oh,
Wow.
That's autographed too, babe.
babe.
Look at that.
It's beautiful.
Look at that.
I thought you were going to show him your guitars.
Oh, come on. Soccer player wants to see the greatest soccer player of all time's jersey, or at least his T-shirt that he had at one time. Come on. Could Pele beat Messi in one-on-one, both in their prime?
I mean, that's just for me. I grew up watching Messi, so I got to go with Messi. But I mean, if I grew up watching Pele, I would probably say Pele.
Your dad would say Pele,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
right? Well, Griffin, I bet this was pretty freaking thrilling for you for about 15, 20 minutes here on the Freak Nation. I mean, we
Pumpkins,
caught you.
guitars, and Pele.
It's greatness. It's the name of a band, man.
It is.
Pumpkins, Guitars, and Pele. I love that.
That'll be
man.
Griffin's band, yes.
Well, buddy, thanks for doing this. Good luck to you for next year. Hopefully, Dynamo will be contending for that championship. We know that you'd much rather be in a better position than you are at this point. But, man, thanks for doing this. Hopefully that those Pumpkins don't stick around too damn long. Come November 1st, well, okay, no, they'll stick around for
They'll stick
Thanksgiving.
around, yeah.
Right?
They don't turn into fir trees or pine trees until after
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Or little Santa Clauses.
It's badass. Hey, Griffin, man, thanks for doing this, bud.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
All right,
See
Griffin
ya.
Dorsey here in the Freak Nation, of course, with your Houston Dynamo. Didn't bust his balls too bad, did we?
No. But I do know. Damn it! His season's going to be back underway by the time Little 500 comes around again.
Right.
Crap.
I don't know. I think
gonna
that
say
should
we
be
should
an
go up there and
initiation,
party.
Crasher.
What?
Is that you? If you go to IU or if you go to any school in Indianapolis, or excuse me, in Indiana,
It's an hour south.
it's like getting your driver's test. Don't you have to attend the Indy 500?
Bloomington's its own animal, its own everything. So no. As long as he had the Little 500 experience, that's good enough, especially for his year and a half there.
I know Richie. It's like Richie lives in Arizona, where there are thousands of places to camp, but Richie's never camped in Arizona.
In my
Good
defense, I
point.
have been to the Grand Canyon one time.
Oh,
there are a lot of people who are native to Arizona that have never been to the Grand Canyon, even though it's like a 4-hour drive up north, and you're there. But
Wait. What? Seriously? You have to put that out on Twitter. I need to know who those people are. And
yeah, there
been
are
holding
plenty
them
of
back.
people that have. Yeah. I think that's like an Arizona thing. Like most people in the state, like it's even though it's right there, like I don't need to see.
On a whip-ass Wednesday, that deserves an ass whipping.
Yeah.
Dudes and dudettes.
I'm actually kind of curious at the percentage of which people who are native to Arizona have never visited the Grand Canyon, and that's what a poll will do. I'm
there
fascinated
we go.
by that. But yeah,
Let's do it.
I'm trying to think of some similarities to Texas. You know, I caught grief when I was living in Los Angeles for 20 years and had some serious questions like, you guys still ride horses to work, don't you?
In your cowboy boots and your spurs.
Yeah. When I auditioned for at the time, WWF announcing job, Kenny, you're from Dallas. Can you give me more of an accent, please?
Meanwhile, all your news stations, they wanted less of an accent.
Yeah, can you be generic? Can you be from the central part of North America? Richie. It is a Whip-Ass Wednesday, Freak Nation. Special guest, Griffin Dorsey here in the Freak Nation. Good to get him in here.
Sure.
We'll do a thrifty Thursday tomorrow. Freak Nation, thanks for being a part of this big old thing. Later.
I want residuals.